So she goes through all this, and then she says Eastern thought is going to be very important, and it's really people like William James through his varieties of religious experience that tried to show that all religious experience is at root the same. And yeah, if you read William James, you'll see that it's clearly a project that is supported by people behind him, and there's a couple books that deal with this. One is what's that one book? A Messianic Character of American Education. Because Dewey and Horace Mann and William James and all these characters, they do have an influence on American education. And their socialism is impelled by their religious philosophy. And so someone like William James, he thinks that something like Buddhism or these Far Eastern religions, because they're anti-logic, anti-Western, that they can be a means by which we can achieve global socialism, because in these idiots' minds, the problem of mankind is logic and reason. Well, that's not the problem of mankind. And just because somebody has a similar conversion experience, it doesn't follow that at base all the religions are the same. But that's kind of the founding presupposition of William James's book. And William James obviously had a tremendous impact on America and American education. And you can see this in other influential characters in America. I mentioned the many characters of who were fundamental in American praxis in terms of how public education could be a tool for socializing. And I wrote an essay that's had a lot of views over the last couple of years that touches on this, called Modern Education as Pavlovian Conditioning. And what you'll find out is that whether it's the invention of kindergarten all the way up to advanced technical schooling, education was always conceived of as a tool for bringing salvation through democratic socialism. And it's always been utopian, and it's always been egalitarian. And that is word for word from the characters who founded it. Okay? I'm going to read you some quotes from famous American philosophers, thinkers, and public education founders, and you're going to see this. And guess what? They're not all Zionists, okay? The common school is the greatest discovery made by man. The common school will be expanding its capabilities, and let it be worked with the efficiency of which it was susceptible, and then 9/10 of the crimes would be obsolete. In other words, he's saying if we do public schooling, 90% of crime will go away. The long catalog of all human ills will be abridged. Men will walk safely day by day. Now that's Horace Mann, one of the early Unitarian Universalist founders of public education, and who was one of the most preeminent Unitarian Universalists. None other than Thomas Jefferson, hallowed by the bogus Unitarian Universalist Church. A total UN entity. Let's see the next guy. James Carter. An institution such as the public school would become, by its influence on society, and particularly upon young people, the engine to sway all public sentiment, public morals, and public religion. It is more powerful than any other in possession by the government. Well, there you go. This guy even thinks it's more powerful than Hollywood. Now, he was probably writing that back 30s or 40s, but I believe that the public school is the new instrumentality for the advancement of all humanity, for the human race. I believe that without them, schools would be shorn of strength and healing power. It is like Christianity itself. Horace Mann. Let's go to the next one. Every schoolhouse is a temple consecrated in prayer to the physical, intellectual, moral culture present in every child in the community. Henry Barnard. Reading and writing are taught too early. Reading and writing are artificial and uneducational. I mean, you couldn't get more blunt in the weaponization in that, and that is from one of the forefathers of American public education, G. Stanley Hall. Did you hear me? Reading and writing need to be delayed and are artificial. Now, you have to understand these characters, John Dewey and all these guys, they literally say that the purpose of school is not to teach you education, but to socialize you. And the reason I'm saying all this is because it ties directly into Marilyn Ferguson's book. Because Marilyn Ferguson is talking about the Aquarian New Age. And who do you think said that the Aquarian New Age would be brought in through the public schools? None other than Mama Blavatsky herself. That ugly fat bitch, Mama Blavatsky. Yes, she did say that. And at the turn of the century, there used to be a magazine actually put out by the Scottish Rite called the New Age magazine. The Scottish Rite's New Age magazine had what's the word I'm looking for? Like they put these essays out as like a charge, like go forth with this attitude, dear Scottish Rite Masons. And the essays say that it is the public school that will be the harbinger of the New World Order. Now, I hear alt-right people bitching about all kinds of things and race and all that, and I do discuss this stuff. We talk about ethnicity, but look, you have to understand all of this stuff. All of this stuff fits together. It's not a one or, all or nothing thing. And guess what? A lot of these people are atheist and Nietzschean and Darwinist too. So how are you going to combat the root of the problem, the root of the errors in worldview, if you're fixated on one problem in the worldview and your same foundation is Nietzsche, Darwin, right? Atheism? It's not going to work. Just a couple more quotes. Democracy will signify a way of life that cannot be limited to, democracy must signify a way of life that cannot be limited to the majority. It is a guiding principle for the formulation of all national education policy. So here you have, like, at the beginning, these are all people a long time ago, right? Foundation of American education. And they're literally saying that the goal is to wipe out intelligence, right? To wipe out meritocracy, get rid of people that are smarter than other people. How? By making them all fucking retards. That's how. Dumb them all down. Make them all tards. And then you won't have the problem that Bertrand Russell talked about of people figuring out how this all works and how it's a big ass scam. John Dewey, the public school is a social center born of democratic movement. It is a social center that is the means and active organized promotion of socialism, and it is the tangible things of art, science, and other modes of social intercourse that will be changed, he's saying. So the public school, he's saying, is what will change everybody. It's what will brainwash everybody, literally. The behavior, and here we go. This is how it's all like stimulus response, and you have the bell, Saved by the Bell, and all that crap. I'm joking, not Saved by the Bell, but when you have the bell ringing, that's Pavlovian. I'm not joking. The bell in your school that rings to take you from one class to the next is literally from Pavlov. And that's because J.B. Watson, one of the forefathers of Pavlovian behaviorism, he also was formulative in public education. So the idea that we're going to go back, if we can go back to 40s and 50s America, right, to white wasp America, as many alt-right think, all of these formative people in power were already planning where we are now. So how are you going to combat that with the same presuppositions as these idiots? And then here's this is a woman who invented kindergarten, Elizabeth Peabody, and she says, I'm not kidding, these people treat it as a religion. Okay, childhood, when childhood is understood, it is leading in the promised millennium of peace to come on the earth that will be amongst men of goodwill. It will make mankind forget the division of Babel, and it will enter into a mutual understanding of a new Pentecost miracle. So public education is what will, basically she's saying, create a new Babel. And this is the woman who created kindergarten. Now that's just a survey of like the top 5, well-known public education theorists in America. And they all say the same crap. I've never heard an alt-right person ever talk about that. Now, maybe Richard Spencer has mentioned that kind of stuff, so I'm not being unfair. But my point is that we can't be mono-issue. We can't focus solely on one problem.